So hi guys, welcome to today's session. Let me turn on my camera. Yeah. So welcome to the today's session. Unfortunately, my pencil is not working, so bear with me. Uh, so the today's session will be around AI valuation bubble. Like, this is not a financial advice. All views are my personal, and like everything that I will be talking about. This is my research. So do not take trades based on this idea. So yeah, let's start. So the session is around AI valuation bubble that I'm seeing. Now, uh, generally from an investment standpoint, it's a quote by Warren Buffett. Uh, I'm unable to recall exactly, but I will try. So what he says is, uh, it is not great investment, and great investment is only made when you get good businesses at good valuations. So AI might be great business, but they are not at great or good valuations. They are at pretty higher valuations. So this is one thing. Then, but the second question that is equally important is, everyone is right now chasing AI, and Bitcoin becoming one of the most interesting, like, contrarian bets, because we are very near to 200-day weekly moving average. It's somewhere around 61,000, and historically it's seen that whenever you invest near 200-day weekly moving average, you like perform better in coming in short to mid term as well. So yeah, that's the whole idea. Then this is a of the flow through or flow chart. How will we flow? So first there is a evaluation map, public winners, private giants, infrastructure build out. So there are three things happening. There are some companies which are already public, like Google, Meta. These companies are big tech companies. They have also their AI arms. So Google has Gemini, Meta has Meta AI. Tesla has, I think, X. Grok is acquired by Tesla or SpaceX. I'm not too sure. But yeah, one of the companies has acquired Grok or XAI. Then these are already public. Then private giants like OpenAI, Anthropic, these IPOs are will be coming in this year. Then infrastructure companies. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but a lot of Bitcoin miners have pivoted to data centers and AI infrastructure, and they took this trade by selling Bitcoin. So yeah, these are also things happening around. Then bubble diagnostics, where evidence is real versus pricing is fragile. So I will be also talking about bubble of Taiwan, particularly Taiwan and South Korean markets. I think US market is, uh, I would not say that it is undervalued or overvalued. I think it's fair there. But with Taiwan and South Korea, I was shocked. I was literally shocked what's happening there. Then liquidity rotation. Now there is this speculation that the recent liquidations that happened in Bitcoin are one of the reasons why, like, most of the liquidity from Bitcoin is going to AI trade, because right now AI is at the hype cycle and it's very volatile. So um, basically, Bitcoin is the one of the most speculated, or one of the most volatile asset, and which people love to speculate on. So people have left this asset and they have rotated into AI. Then I will be talking about some Bitcoin things, like why it's better to buy Bitcoin at these valuations near to like 200-day weekly moving averages. And yeah, then coming to third slide. So as I was talking about, AI is real. Like, I truly believe that AI is a once in a lifetime and revolution that is happening. It's 100% going to change the world. It's already changing the world. Like I have seen many posts of big giants where um, they have laid off employees saying that we do not literally need this much amount of workforce. And if you guys are aware, Jack Dorsey, basically the founder of X, like he sold Twitter, but yeah, he basically started. He was the founder of Twitter. So he has one more company named Block. So Block is in Bitcoin space. They develop like they work in payments ecosystem. They help merchants accept Bitcoin payments. So that is one thing. And basically, Jack Dorsey made a tweet, I think a couple of months back, wherein Block is doing exceptionally well. The revenues are going up, profits are going up, company is in well shape, nothing is happening wrong. But he comes out on X one day and he says that, hey, like the systems and processes that we have built with AI are doing much of the work. So we are laying off couple of thousands. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a good amount of workforce. I think somebody is unmute. Can you please mute yourself? Lax Sono. Yeah, thanks. So that is the thing. Like AI is real, but not every AI valuation is real. So unlike many past bubbles, AI is not like purely imaginary. There is real demand for chips. Real revenue growth is there. Like the capex is also real. Real enterprise adoption is happening. Then AI is also real in national security. Like I don't know if you guys know this. Um, the before US took out Venezuela, like they used some AI models, some top AI models, and they model every situation, and by using that, they took out the president of Venezuela. So the president, I think Maduro. So yeah, they also like nations have already started to adopt AI in national security and defense related things. Then but like this market behavior that is starting to look like a, I mean, it's personal, but it's starting to look like a late cycle. Why I'm saying that late cycle? Like I'm seeing this kind of top phase, like it's near to the peak. Why I'm saying this, I will let you know. Then we are seeing concentration in like few winners. Like I have some examples, maybe I can add in here. So there is a company in Taiwan. It's TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. So this company is nearly 50% of total market cap of Taiwan. So can you imagine that? I think Reliance, one of the largest Indian company, is not even 5% of total Indian market cap. And recently, Taiwan's stock market cap, like in the whole, has surpassed Indian equity market. Like it is around 4.5 trillion. We are nearly 4.4 trillion. And recently, yesterday or day before yesterday, South Korea also bypassed us. And there is same situation with South Korea as well. So in South Korea, they have Samsung and SK Hynix. So these two companies are more than 52% of the whole South Korean market. So this is kind of like worrisome situation for maybe for a nation from a concentration point of view. Like for example, if uh, if these TSMC or Samsung or Hynix fall, let's say 20-30%, whole market of Taiwan or South Korea will fall by 15%. And index falling by 15% is a pretty big news. So these things are happening right now. Maybe I will also show you some charts going forward. Then we are also having some IPOs that are lined up. We have IPO of SpaceX. It's nearly 1.75 trillion. Then we have IPO of Anthropic. It's basically, this model called Claude. So Claude is an model of Anthropic. Then so these IPOs are lined up. Liquidity is going to go out. And in general, historically, it's seen that whenever large IPOs come in, they generally tend to drive liquidity out from the overall markets. So it will be interesting to see how things turn out in like 5, 6 months. Then AI is basically not a single thing. So we have models developed by OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI. Then chips are being developed by NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a US giant. TSMC is Taiwanese company. ASML is one of the company in Netherlands. Then SK Hynix and Samsung are manufacturing RAMs and storage. So like the whole value chain of AI is now seeing very much higher valuations. Uh, I mean, the valuations are still not that high, but the concentrations which I am seeing in um, like as a percentage of total market cap, it's pretty huge. So especially in Nvidia, I think Nvidia is in multiple hundreds. Nvidia P, if I can guess it right. Then TSMC, I think it's same situation. So all these AI companies are trading at a crazy price to earnings multiple, like companies like which are yet to go IPO, Anthropic. These companies have just started to make profit and they are already at $2 trillion. Like Anthropic is right now at 2 trillion. And there, if you can count, I think there will be around 10 companies that are over 1 trillion. So things are getting pretty crazy. Then the SpaceX is around, I think, 1.75 trillion. So crazy amounts of valuations we are seeing right now. Then coming to these bubbles and what I am basically seeing. So the the tense situation that I'm seeing is I was seeing this video of Jeff Booth and Samson Mao. So Jeff Booth is talking about the internet era valuations. So he expressed that the valuations that were back then in the 1999 or 2000 and 2001 dot-com bubbles, these AI valuations are comparable to these dot-com bubble valuations. Was dot-com revolutionary technology? Yes. But the valuations were pretty stretched out. And he compared today's AI valuations much, much, much higher than back in the days of 2000s dot-com bubble crisis. So this is kind of concerning. But revenue growth for not AI companies, let me be specific. Revenue growth for chips and cloud compute and AI infra is there. Like, I'm not denying that fact, it's there. Earlier in the day, I was talking with Shivam. Like, he was like, hey man, like, what's happening with Bitcoin and uh, like, why is it crashing? And on the other side, he said that if you look into AI sector, he said that AI is going up and up and up. Even SanDisk and companies like this SK Hynix and Samsung and Micron Technology. So all these companies are going up, and Bitcoin is going down. So in general, Bitcoin uh, was being treated by Wall Street as a high beta tech stock. So it Bitcoin was similar to high beta tech stock, but I don't know why uh, Bitcoin is going down, but all these high beta tech stocks are going up. So this is one of a kind of divergence that we are witnessing right now. So that is one thing. Then these private rounds that AI companies have raised in the recent past. So this is also pretty concerning right now. Then because before coming to the market, they are already $1 trillion companies. So this uh, this is kind of concerning. Like even if SpaceX does 100 like 2x, then it will become $4 trillion company. And there are rules getting changed for SpaceX. So SpaceX also has an AI arm, if I'm not wrong. I think XAI has been acquired by SpaceX, not Tesla. So, and also SpaceX did one compute transaction deal with Anthropic. To the people who use Claude, they might know that Claude always goes down. When you compare Claude with ChatGPT or other models which are out there, most of the times you will find that Claude keeps going down. And why was this going down is basically demand was pretty high for their models, and like the compute infra was not there. So they recently made a deal with SpaceX, and after that things are looking good. But still, like the valuations and the things which are happening in the AI sector are pretty like concerning for me. Then this is one thing. One more important point that I want to touch through is whenever demand is higher than supply, in general, the companies like put in do capex, do a lot of capex, put in tons and tons of money into AI, into AI infra. And because of this, what happens is at a point in time, there will be a phase where this much amount of compute will not be usable. Like they will produce extra. And when this happens, that is the time when this bubble or whatever, when these valuations might come down. So this is one thing. Like even Samsung Mao in the video was talking that um, basically this excess infra that is built on to support AI, to support these models, at some point in time we will not require that much amount of basically energy or basically compute. The right word is compute. So will not require that much amount of compute. And if you talk to the person who are into AI, they say that AI, future of AI is going to be local. And what do I mean by that? Is basically every company is going to have their own local AI model, and every person is also going to have their own local AI model. So for Claude, we have Claude Code. For ChatGPT, they have something called Codex. So these are models, and they sit locally in my Mac or in your Mac. They sit locally. Even if internet is not there, you can do stuff like research and some kind of things will require internet, but there are a lot of things that you can still do without internet on the local models. So I was talking with Shivam in the morning. So Shivam made a point in here that there are two types of models. One is large language model and the other is small language model. So large language model is generally in these basically what I can say AI infra like these computing infra that is data centers. So these large language models runs in data centers, but smaller language models can run into our own PC. And Shivam made a point that basically Google had done something recently where they have compressed, they have successfully compressed the data into smaller packets, and they are able to do this in with very smaller chips. So going forward into the future, AI will be local, and this is what being discussed in the video of Samson Mao and Jeff Booth. They made a point in where everybody will be using AI locally. And if you are aware of Chinese models, like think of it like this. So let's say ChatGPT or Anthropic comes with a new model. So ChatGPT 5.5 or Claude, whatever, Claude 4.5 or 4.6. If when these new models come in, the older models, like after some period of time, they go open source. And when they go open source, they are open to, like, we can run them locally on our Mac. So, and not everyone in the space requires top end AI model. There might be people who require top end AI models, but they're like it's not always the case that you require um, like a top end AI model. A lot of things can be done with lower models as well. So this is the thing. Then yeah, now interesting part, Taiwan and South Korea. So as I was talking about, there is a company in Taiwan called TSMC. This TSMC, let me show you the chart. Taiwan stock market heat map. Yeah. So this thing. So if you can see this 2230 is basically TSMC, and this is the structure of Taiwanese market. Like TSMC holds nearly 50%, like 45% to be specific, of total Taiwanese broader market. And one more thing, like Taiwan's total annual GDP is basically gross domestic product of a nation in a particular year. So for Taiwan, it's around $900 billion. And the current market cap of Taiwan is around 4.5 trillion. Imagine, like, a market, it's pretty concerning when market cap to GDP ratio is higher than 150 or near to 200. So it's a worrisome situation, like, or it's a, I would say it's a overvalued situation. And in this situation, forget 900 billion, take it as 1 trillion. So on a $1 trillion of GDP, market cap, total market cap of Taiwan is around 4.5 trillion. That is 4.5 times, or uh, like around 450% more. So that is kind of a crazy valuation that these companies are having right now. And why I am saying this might be the, like, we might be near the peak is basically everyone in Taiwan is out in this AI trade. Like I read some reports and I found some data there that uh, basically people near to their retirements are surrendering their insurance policies at loss, and they are investing this money which they are getting from surrendering insurances. They are investing this money into these AI companies like TSMC. And similar is the situation in South Korean markets. We'll also show you South Korean market heat map. So in South Korea as well, people are surrendering their policies, their insurance policies, and like by after surrendering, they have what I can say, they have invested into companies like Samsung and SK Hynix. So things are not like as good as they should be. Like I personally feel that things are stretched, but yeah, recently this also South Korean stock, basically total South Korean stock market also uh, crossed Indian stock market in the total overall market cap. I'm pretty sure South Korea is also nearly to maybe $1 trillion GDP. So, like, think, I mean, personally, I think that it's pretty much um, overhyped valuations right now. I don't know. I can't find heat. Okay, heat. Yeah, heat more. This is US. If I can see was 5. Yeah, yeah. See this. So this is Samsung and this is SK Hynix. So
What do they
things
do,
are.
Digant? What does SK Hynix and Kospi do?
Kospi is a broader South Korean stock market index, like our Sensex. So, Saurabh, I think to just summarize whatever happened. So basically, uh, if you are aware, Taiwanese market and South Korean as a whole market, they surpassed Indian stock market recently. And to be specific, Taiwan's GDP is 900 billion, and South Korea is also somewhere near that mark. But their market cap is around 4.5 or 4.8 trillion. So the market cap to GDP ratio is way higher. And according to the analysts which are out there in Wall Street, they, according to them, it's worrisome situation if market cap to GDP is on the higher end of 150%. And here you are seeing 4.5 times. So things are crazy. And on top of this, I was talking about is basically people in their 40s and 50s have started to surrender their life insurance policies at loss, and they are entering into this AI trade. If I can show you some charts, yeah, I will search it. Samsung. Look at this. So this, like from start of 2026, if you can see Samsung, it's around 2.3x. So, or 3.3x. So it's 230% to be specific, which is uh, kind of crazy. SK Hynix should be much more crazy. SK Hynix. SK Hynix, yeah. So SK Hynix, it's 320. So all these companies, one more company I want to show you, SanDisk. SanDisk. All these stocks are like going vertical. SanDisk is 801%. So the concerning situation here is basically people are surrendering their insurance policies and getting into these AI trade. And on top of that surrendering of insurance, the leverage which people are taking is at all-time high. It's at all-time high. Imagine, I mean, it's crazy. Like stocks valuations are at all-time high. People are surrendering their insurance policies, and they have taken like leverage via pledging their shares or whatever. Like there are margin trading facilities out there with brokers. So if you go look out that data, um, it's the highest ever leverage in Taiwanese and South Korean market. It's highest ever. So these things, these things are concerning. What is Taiwanese? eh, No, TW. What is this? TWSE. TWSE. So this is TSMC. It's more. It's nearly 45% of total Taiwanese market. And even if these companies fall 20, 30, 40%, whole market will come down by 20%. So situation is kind of crazy. And on top of that, IPOs are coming in. There is a line of IPO that are incoming. SpaceX 1.75 trillion, Anthropic 1 trillion, and many more companies are in the process. I think OpenAI will also do an IPO pretty soon. So this situation is kind of concerning. And on top of that, what concerns me is basically people surrender their insurance policies and coming into markets, and they have taken leverage on top of that. So this is kind of peak, what I can say, peak hype or peak mania phase that is going on. Before that, I was also talking about this point made by Samson. So he made this point that going forward into the future, AI will be local, and I would love, Saurabh, your take on this. So he made a point where going forward, AI models will run locally on our PCs, or will have something, some GPUs, or people have started to buy Mac Minis and run their own bots and agents on that Mac Minis. So, like Samson made a point in there that currently the all the capex that is happening in AI infra or data center space, basically you might have seen nearly all the miners who were in the Bitcoin treasury trade, they have pivoted into AI trade. Now they have channeled their AI, sorry, Bitcoin mining infra into AI compute infra. So Samson said that there will be a point where all this infra will be, uh, I mean, supply will be too huge that there will be no demand for the compute. I don't know how you see this, but he made this point, and it might be true because everyone is in this AI capex race. Like, and funding is happening like this. Like, X AI company, or let's say A company is funding B company, B company is funding C company is funding D company, and D company is funding A company. So these things are happening in a closed system. It's like NVIDIA is funding ChatGPT, OpenAI is funding Anthropic is funding Microsoft, and Microsoft is again funding NVIDIA. So kind of similar situations are uh, out there already in the market. Still, I think in the US, valuations are pretty fair and not overhyped like Taiwan and South Korea. Like, there is no this kind of things happening in the US, like people are surrendering their insurances and getting into AI trade. So I think in the US, things are pretty much better than what's happening in Taiwan and South Korea. But yeah, in Taiwan and South Korea, I mean, it's kind of crazy for me. Then what basically what's happening in the Bitcoin space? So whatever cash that investors around in the whole market, cash and stables that they have is being rotated into AI, like AI, like Nvidia, TSMC, HBM, Cloud Infra, OpenAI, Anthropic, and what else? Then IPOs are coming in SpaceX, Anthropic, what these core view style infra, frontier tech. So cash and stables, and some people are speculating that because like AI is now into hyper growth and speculation phase, Bitcoin's liquidity is also pulled out from Bitcoin into these IPOs and into these AI trade. So all of these going, all of this liquidity is going to AI. And in general, when large IPOs come into the market after 3 to 6 months, it reflects in the market that like liquidity is drying up. Because how are they able to raise this much money? Like already existing investors should sell something and buy that thing. So if this much big IPOs are coming in, then uh, like things will show a real picture in 6 months to 1 year. And on top of that, in the US, in all the history of United States, they have recently amended S&P 500 rule to include SpaceX into S&P 500. Um, so if you remember, there was a time where we discussed that MicroStrategy is not into the S&P 500, and like very much things happened in that space. But when you are in control of or you are controlling basically the government, or government is in your side, ways can be built. And for this, for SpaceX, there is no need for SpaceX to, at least I mean, I'm not able to recall the exact time frame, but when you list, minimum there should be 6 months time frame before index before these indexes take position, these passive indexes take position in the company. And there should be also profitability. I'm not sure about SpaceX, are they profitable or are they not? I have to check. But yeah, that things are waived off particularly for SpaceX. Like rules are still there, but SpaceX is kind of one it's kind of exception. So these things are I mean, it has not happened in like history of S&P 500, and this is happening for SpaceX. I mean, I'm not sure why. So all 401ks, retirement accounts, which have positions in S&P 500, they will be having positions in SpaceX. And in the short term, it might blow up. It might. Who knows? So things are there. Then this is all about what's happening in AI. I think I will stop for some time, and if there are some questions, I can take that, and then after I'll continue. Okay, I think no more questions. Okay. So why I'm seeing Bitcoin? Somebody has unmuted. Yeah. Can go on?
I had a question. I mean, on the South Korea thing, I've heard Samsung has also rolled out big bonuses.
Yeah.
Many orders of their salaries, particularly for the chips. Mainly, a lot of these gains is coming from the memory chips business for Samsung.
Yeah.
And that also explains why SanDisk is doing well, and I think SK Hynix is probably a similar company. Anyways, it's
Yep.
that portion of AI stack which is whatever rallied. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. You are right there. Like Samsung basically manufactures RAM, and SK Hynix, I think it's similar to SanDisk. Like they do storage and they also do RAM. So yeah, that's the thing with uh, SK Hynix.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
these are still. I think the biggest story there is Micron, which has rallied
Yeah.
a lot to become $1 trillion company.
It's
Uh,
already a trillion.
yeah, but I think real suck in liquidity will probably come in now with SpaceX. Uh, that probably will be much bigger, uh, you know, short-term impact than the others that I've had.
Micron is Nasdaq listed, but it's not
Yeah, one thing that
something
I
like.
wanted to mention actually was, with respect to S&P 500 and Nasdaq, both looking to list them, they're basically both competing to. It's a $1 trillion issue, right? I mean, it's not a $1 trillion issue. It's a 80 billion issue, but eventually float will increase, and it's close to $2 trillion of equity that will be traded, right? So S&P and Nasdaq are competing to have them listed. Nasdaq can anyway list companies which are not in profit. SpaceX
Yeah.
is currently not in profit and would typically not qualify for an S&P 500 listing. But I think the exception is made there to allow, SpaceX, despite being in, uh, what do you say, in red, in losses, still being allowed to list on S&P 500 right away. But the thing is, we've also not had IPOs which are close to $2 trillion in the past, right? Previously, IPO companies which IPO'd were of much smaller scale. So it was much easier for the exchanges to leave them out of business, allow them to get bigger before they get added. That is not the case here.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that tweet. Let me share. So as you can see here, rule changes for SpaceX IPO. Index providers waived the profitability requirement and cut the seasoning window from 90 days to 5 days. So 90 is basically 3 months to 5. I think I said 6, so I was wrong there. Then these forces over 330 trillion in passive 401ks and retirement money to buy SpaceX at IPO valuations. Then Bloomberg Intelligence estimates S&P 500 must absorb 19% of SpaceX float within 6 months. Russell 1000 Nasdaq 100 will absorb 24%. The rules built to protect passive investors. S&P 500 has required 12 months of trading and 4 quarters of gap profitability since 2002, both waived. Nasdaq cut its inclusion window from 19 to, okay, here it says 19 to 15 and here it is saying 19 to 5. So, but okay, this is for Russell. So FTSE Russell is another index. They have got to 5. So this should be here. Okay. So S&P had a requirement of 12-month past trading and 4 quarters of gap profitability, 4 consecutive quarters of gap profitability. What does this mean is basically uh, 1 year of profitability. Even if you have 3 negative quarters and that 1 quarter beats all your losses, that is also good. But for for SpaceX, 12 months of trading and these 4 quarters of profitability is waived off. Nasdaq cut its inclusion window from 19 to 15. FTSE cut from like whatever to 5, and all of these benchmarks will enter into SpaceX nearly in 5 to 15 days or in a month. So yeah, these are things that are changed for SpaceX. Coming back to our presentation. So why I think Bitcoin is right now the best contrarian allocation or contrarian investment right now. You know that Bitcoin is 21 million supply cap and whatnot. Apart from this, one of the important factor about Bitcoin is basically it's near 200-week moving average. And if you go back into the history, or let me show you. If you go back into the history and you see that whenever you put money or stack sats uh, near 200 day, sorry, 200-week moving average. So this line, you can see this line. So this is nearly a level of 61,000 approx. So this is 200-day weekly moving average, and this moving average is near to $61,000. And in the history, if you check, whenever you put in money near 200 weekly moving average, then you are pretty good. Like there are scenarios where it slightly goes down, like this is in the last bear market in 2022, where Bitcoin went down to 15K or 16K levels. So the 200 week moving average was around 20,000, and Bitcoin bottom of Bitcoin was at 16,000. So when Bitcoin's prices are near to 200 weekly moving average, bottom is pretty near to that. Like it might be like this might be the bottom, 61,000 might be the bottom, and 50,000 might be the bottom. I don't know. But it's very near to this range. Coming to like this area. So if you can see, this is back in 2019, where the 200 week moving average, like the price of Bitcoin just touched 200 weekly moving average and it went up. So historically, it's better when you put in money near this line of 200 weekly moving average. Like you also outperform in 1 or 2 year time frame as well. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to go up, but historically, historical data supports this fact. So this is one of the basic points why it's contrarian bet. Another contrarian bet that Samson Mao and Jeff Booth made is basically the infra will be built and the supply will be more than demand. And when this happens, these miners and this AI infra will come again. It will shift from AI infra, AI compute to again Bitcoin mining. So I think I kind of agree with this point. So this is the thing. And historically, like whenever hash rate goes up, price also tends to go up in relative time frames. Then these are a couple of historical examples, like railways. Was it a real development? Like when railways came in, was that a real technological breakthrough? Absolutely yes. But there was a point in time where it was overbuilt and a lot of leverage flushed through. Then similar case was there in dot-com bubble. Was the internet uh, like revolutionary technology? Absolutely yes. But many stocks went up just by having a dot-com name in their company, and then they came down. One of the famous examples is Amazon. Like Amazon came like at the highs, I think it was at $126, and when crash happened, it came back to three, literally $3. So this is the thing. And similarly, I mean, there is always this thing in the market that people say that this time is different, but essentially things go back circle. Like people say that this time is different, but time is never different. So right now, as I was saying, that this Taiwan company, this TSMC, basically whole Taiwan market is 4.5 trillion and Taiwan GDP is 900 billion. When you compare it to Indian GDP and Indian market cap, like Indian GDP is also near 4.5 trillion and Indian market is also near 4.5 trillion. Now, I don't want to go into is Indian market good, is government taking right steps, but on the valuation side of things, I think Taiwanese stock market and South Korean stock market are pretty stretched up. And as I said earlier, like people in their 50s have sold their insurance policies and at loss, and they have entered into this AI trade of Samsung, TSMC, SK Hynix at these valuations. So in general, when everybody around you is talking about AI, 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 or everybody around you is talking about that one particular thing, 90% of the cases are there that is the peak point. I, I'm no one to say that this is the peak of AI valuation, not AI as a technology. So let's see. Like I want to see like how these AI things figure out in basically Alok has mentioned a point. Digant, not the railway, it's a steam engine. Steam engine is the protocol. Railway was network on that protocol where private railway companies had monopoly on the network. Great point, Alok. I think one similar point was made by Jeff Booth, where he said that this artificial intelligence uh, is a basically it's similar to a steam engine where which Alok is comparing to protocol, and there will be companies on top of that protocol, but this intelligence is going to be localized, and people will be running artificial intelligence models on their own PC, and this will be the point where this AI compute infra that is being built will be of no use. I was earlier talking with you, as I mentioned earlier in the morning, that um, how are things happening in the space. So he said that there are two kinds of models, LLM and SLM. LLM is basically large language models, and it requires a greater compute capacity to run these models. And on the other side, there are SLMs. So SLMs are small language models. So these can be run on our Mac, on our PC, on our local computers. So uh, if companies like it's always better to be running models on my own devices, my own infra, than taking or renting it from a cloud compute, because it might be much more secure. I'm not an expert, but this is what has been discussed in that podcast. Maybe I can share you that link after this session. So this was the point where Jeff Booth mentioned that basically these models will get decentralized, and these will be running locally, which is not the case right now. And he said that whenever a model comes out, that model can be open sourced by reverse engineering. You might have seen the DeepSeek, Quen. Then one more company or model is there starting with E. Uh, I'm not able to recall, but these models are pretty close to ChatGPT and OpenAI models, and these models are already open source. There is a website called Open Router. Just a minute, I'm changing my screen again. If I am right, models Quant, Anthropic, XCI. So there is rankings. Yeah. So here you can analyze what model is ranked where based on LLM. So if you can see here, DeepSeek V4 Flash is now ranked second, and it's open source. Like Claude Sonnet 4.6 and Claude Opus 4.7 are 4 and 6. Where is ChatGPT? ChatGPT model is not there. Show more. Kimi, yeah, Kimi is also one of the great models out there for image generation. So yeah, these are different kinds of models that are out there. And if you can see, Chinese open source DeepSeek, these kinds of companies are doing pretty well on the benchmarks. Now here you can see what is this intelligence index score. Okay. So here Claude Opus 4.8 is at 61.4 and it is at top right now. GPT 5.5, 60.2. Okay, here private companies are dominating. Kimi, Kimi is at 53. But if you can see here, Kimi is at 53.9, but the cost is very less. Like for getting Claude, Claude is around $5 per million tokens, and Kimi is at $0.68 per million tokens. So this is kind of interesting thing that is happening from China. Like they have open sourced this. I mean, it's kind of divergent. Like generally, US uh, is the leading nation where they do open source and whatnot. They believe in uh, these things. But China, being an authoritarian state, they have open sourced their models. So things are pretty much interesting in this space. Okay, now I'll come back to our slides and finish the session. Okay, so that was, I think, it. 5 scenarios. The next liquidity rotation, AI keeps winning, BTC lags, AI resets, BTC benefits, both rise, both fall, AI splits. So these are some scenarios. AI validation, Bitcoin bubble warnings. Okay, I think I have pretty much covered whatever else that is left.